In the year 1066, England was thrown into uncertainty when King Edward the Confessor died without leaving an heir. His death created a dangerous power vacuum, because the throne of England was suddenly open for claim. The most powerful noble in England, Harold Godwin's son, was quickly crowned king. Many people supported him because he was already a respected leader and had the trust of the English nobles, but across the English Channel, William, Duke of Normandy, was furious. He claimed that King Edward had promised him the throne years earlier. William also believed Harold had once sworn an oath to support his claim. To William, Harold's coronation was nothing less than betrayal. At the same time, another challenger emerged from the north, Harold Hardrada, King of Norway. He too believed he had the right to rule England. This meant England now faced threats from two sides. Harold had little time to prepare. Soon, Harold Hardrada invaded northern England with a powerful Viking army. Harold marched his men hundreds of miles north and met them at Stamford Bridge. After a fierce and bloody battle, Harold won a major victory, and Hardrada was killed, but before Harold and his exhausted army could rest, shocking news arrived. William of Normandy had landed in the south of England with a fresh and well-equipped force. Harold immediately turned his army south and began another exhausting march. His men were tired, wounded, and barely recovered from the previous battle, yet they had no choice. The fate of England was now heading toward a decisive clash near Hastings. On October 14, 1066, the armies of Harold and William finally faced each other near Hastings. Harold chose the high ground at Senlac Hill, where his men formed a strong shield wall. This defensive formation was the strength of the English army. Soldiers stood shoulder to shoulder with shields locked, creating what seemed like an unbreakable wall. William's army was more diverse and fresh. He had infantry, skilled archers, and cavalry, something Harold lacked. The battle began with Norman archers firing arrows toward the hill, but the English shield wall absorbed much of the attack. Then came the cavalry charges. Norman knights on horseback thundered uphill, crashing into the English line. The sound of swords striking shields filled the battlefield. Again and again William's forces attacked, yet Harold's men held their ground. For hours, the battle remained evenly matched. At one point, a rumor spread among William's troops that their leader had been killed. Panic began to spread. To restore confidence, William removed his helmet and rode across the battlefield, shouting that he was still alive. Then William made a brilliant strategic move. He ordered some of his forces to pretend to retreat. Seeing the enemy fall back, some English soldiers broke formation and chased them downhill. This was exactly what William wanted. The Norman soldiers suddenly turned back and attacked the pursuing Englishmen. This weakened the shield wall and created openings. Slowly, the once solid English defense began to crack. As the battle continued into the afternoon, the English line grew weaker. William's forces kept pressing harder, taking advantage of every gap in the shield wall. Harold and his men fought bravely, refusing to surrender. Then came the moment that would define history forever. According to legend, an arrow struck King Harold in the eye. Whether this happened exactly as described or not, it is widely believed that Harold was killed during the final phase of the battle. The death of the king shattered the morale of the English army. Without Harold's leadership, the remaining resistance collapsed. William's forces overwhelmed the battlefield, and victory was finally his. After the battle, William marched toward London and was crowned King of England. He became known forever as William the Conqueror. The Battle of Hastings did not just decide who would be crowned. It changed the future of England itself. A new ruling class took control. The Norman culture and language heavily influenced England, and the country's political structure was transformed. This single battle reshaped English history forever. One king had fallen, and a new era had begun.